Let's do it.
Hello, Internet. I'm Dan.
And I'm Chaz. This is Wine is Serious Business, episode 155. We got some wine from all the way across the country.
Yes.
North Carolina.
Yep. Thanks again to Joy for hooking us up with this stuff. Same time she picked up that Texas wine, so we get to explore some wine from states we have absolutely no familiarity with.
Yeah, this is the first time I've had anything from North Carolina, so...
Yep, and much like the Texas show, we've only got one bottle where it's like designated as fruit from there. Dan, there's nothing on that. No clue, but...
You're gonna go ahead.
But yeah, she picked them up at a big store there, asked for like known North Carolina wine, and these are at the very least North Carolina producers.
This is a uniquely North Carolina treat to be served fully chilled.
Fully chilled, and that feels pretty chill.
That feels fully
chilled. This is let's get into it. Cypress Bend Vineyards Roseneath. This looks like it's a. We'll be generous and say it's off dry, perhaps.
I don't think it's off dry.
Rosé. No word on here of vintage. No word on here of grapes. It's off dry.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. So I'm gonna go with there are probably these are probably not all vinifera grapes, right? These are probably some hybrids, right? Some
absolutely,
like the Niagara. That's what the nose reminds me of.
Yeah, it reminds me of Niagara that I've had previously. Exactly like it.
Which
the Oak Knoll Niagara.
If you haven't had that, it's kind of like gummy bears or gummy worms. It's like the white ones, and I don't know what fruit those are supposed to be, but definitely like candy.
So my parents have a grape arbor in the back, right? And it's like some Concord grapes, I think, but they're very, very small berries. They're not like a eating grape per se. Like they got seeds in them. You can eat them and they're pretty good, but they smell exactly like this.
Yeah, and I've run into that. I've run into that before too, and I don't know if it's like common amongst native grapes or just stuff that's not the famous Vitis vinifera winemaking grapes. And this isn't so much pink as there's like a little orange to it too, which kind of reminds me of like the Pinot Gris thing you get when you get the skins out of that.
Skin macerated Pinot Gris.
Who knows if that's from the grapes that it's in or where it's been, or I don't know.
I see why they say fully chilled.
If this was any warmer, it would not be enjoyable.
Right.
As it is, fully chilled, I think it works. Yeah, it's like candy.
Big time.
The sweetness kind of lingers on the palate, but it's like a grapey sweetness. It like grapey candy. It's not like there's some where it tastes like powdered sugar or like really artificial sweetener, and I'm not getting that.
No, but that's why I don't find it particularly good personally. There's some sharpness to it when I initially taste it. That's why I'm like, I think if it was chilled down even further, like you pull that shit out of the freezer, then it might...
Couple ice cubes?
That might be, exactly. Toss a couple ice cubes in this, it might be better. As is, yeah, it's just a sweet, sugary...
A little bit of lemon in there.
Man.
The color's still kind of getting to me because I'm not getting a lot of red fruit on it.
The palate, I'm getting more of the gummy bear thing that Dan talked about earlier. Like, it's got that sort of flavor, right? But very, very sweet. Off dry.
No, this is totally sweet.
It is totally sweet.
Candy, hot summer pounder, drink it straight out of the freezer.
12%. I'm gonna go 72 points.
I was gonna say, I'm like, maybe I can give it 80 points. I'm like
68.
Probably
70.
No, yeah,
70.
it's about,
It's bottom end to average. I don't want another glass of it personally.
I'm gonna take it to 78. There are a little bit of awkward points in there too, and that is kind of like as a wine, like. I'm sure this works really well for some people. I know people who would really enjoy this.
Yeah. I have to really rinse the shit out of this.
I'll pour this. It's not really up my alley, I guess.
Yeah, not feeling it. Sorry, guys.
78. That's what it's going to be. We're going to go 2 rinses on this, just because that was pretty strong in a few ways.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was something else. Gotta rinse the palate out too. Man.
This what we're rinsing with and what we'll be moving on to next is the Biltmore Pinot Noir. No vintage, and it's American Pinot Noir.
Right.
So no vintage, no designation of where the fruit came from, which we read some online where they get some Pinot Noir from the Russian River Valley. This could all be California fruit. It could be some California fruit with some North Carolina fruit.
Yeah, and this is based loosely off cellar tracker notes. Like
Yeah.
going back and looking at some of their other bottlings, their reserve bottling is designated Russian River Valley, California.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then their estate American, which seems really odd to me, is actually people said in tasting notes that it was Cali fruit. So don't know where from. Probably from around the same place. You know, Russian River Valley, Healdsburg area, but.
Yeah, or maybe a little outside of that specific AVA.
Maybe.
But anyway, American Pinot Noir, but vinted in North Carolina.
Yep.
Sold out of their estate there. So let's see what they do with it.
Non-vintage. Did you say non-vintage?
Yep, non-vintage.
Smells nice.
Yeah, it smells straightforward. I mean, it's straightforward. It's a little bit of like kind of plums, darker fruit, which.
Plums and blackberries.
I'm not terribly familiar with California Pinot Noir, but that's something that, like, roughly I associate with fruit from there.
There's none of really the bright red fruit that you get out of Oregon, right? Like this is more like blackberry jam and a little bit of the plums you were talking about before.
Little bit of vanilla probably from some oak there, but like fruity, friendly. Reminds me, or at least at this point. So this is also only $10, but I think it's really in line with. Entry-level Pinot with nice entry-level Pinot Noirs, like some fruit
at $10. Yeah, totally.
Like, smells alright.
It smells nice. So not much going on the palate.
Nope, but for $10, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm getting a little bit of blackberry flavor, a little bit of nice acidity. The tannins are really light. Getting a little bit of a stemmy note late.
I was going to call that.
Which isn't so great.
No.
But at the price, it doesn't bother me so much. And I think that's often at the lower price points, that's kind of a price you pay from either higher yields or maybe a little more automated harvesting and things like that, like these green notes. There are a couple ways they'll creep in. But it's not really destructive or distracting. I mean, it's just...
Not too much. Not too much. I'm going to completely agree with what Dan said. And... add just a little bit of like grapiness to it. Like sometimes you get some just like red grapiness. It's very uncommon actually in a lot of these Pinots, but I'm getting that distinctly on this. So yeah.
And then you can definitely
on there before.
Definitely tell it's like outside of what we usually drink that the fruit flavors stay so dark across the palate, right? Like yeah, some of the blackberries too. Like if this were totally blind, I'd struggle with this being Pinot Noir or not, just because the fruit's so dark.
Like a Merlot or something, a light vintage or something.
But you can tell they've got enough acidity in there to try and keep it with the lighter mouthfeel as opposed to like a mouthfeel you'd expect from a Merlot or a Syrah or something like that.
Right.
It's definitely, and the tannins are lighter, right? So it's got this like lighter body, little bit of lift, still some decent fruit flavors. Scoring this is hard because it's, I mean, for sure at $10 it delivers well.
I would agree. 83 points for me. Nice wine. $10.
I think that's where I'm going to land too. Rock solid, and actually, I would never have guessed that you could get this quality of Pinot Noir out of North Carolina for $10.
Well, we don't know if it's out of we don't know if it's out of North Carolina.
No, I mean at shops there, not out of the walk into a winery there, buy a glass of Pinot Noir.
Good point. No, excellent point.
It's cool stuff. So if you're on the East Coast, if you're in North Carolina, never had Pinot Noir before, trying to learn about it. That'd be a decent bottle to start out. So check it out. Yeah, cool stuff.
Off camera.
Yeah, off camera.
Got Joy off camera. Say hi.
Hello.
Got some Cab Franc up next.
Yeah.
Just like the Texas show, we've got one bottle that's designated as fruit from North Carolina. This is
it.
Childress Vineyards, 2008 Cabernet Franc. Of course, this is close to Virginia, and I know they grow a lot of Cab Franc there. Barrel Select, 2008. I should say, the rosé was $10.99, $1 more than the Pinot Noir. I drink the Pinot Noir Any day.
Any
You know what? Actually, at a party, like I'll say that too. Like at a party or a social situation, I'd drink a few glasses of that. That'd be no problem. That'd be no problem.
Absolutely.
And this one is $17.99. So also like the Texas wine for like, you know, state grown fruit for their barrel select, which I assume is at least somewhat quality selected. Still under $20. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty good. All right.
Wow, this is big.
It smells weird.
Kind of like some dried blackberries and leather.
Yeah, the leather. I don't know if I see any blackberries in there.
Did you get fruit?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just like I have no idea what the hell it is. It's like leather, wood. Be the first two things I'd pull out of it.
It'll like pomegranate or something too.
There you
Something a
go.
little tangy.
Maybe something like cranberry and pomegranate.
Oh, that's even better than pomegranate. Yeah.
It's like tart fruit. Anyway.
There's this like dried earthy thing that kind of reminds me of some Virginia wines too. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Leather and earth, like totally.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. It's so weird. It's just unlike anything I've ever had before. Still trying to decipher whether I like it or not. It's good.
Nice texture on the front end. I think it settles down really well. Again, a little bit of acidity, but it's kind of got like a gentle feel to it. And as it runs across the palate, the flavors really come in then. Very similar to the nose. It's one of those wines where I think the nose translates to the palate pretty much directly. Some dark fruits, kind of that crazy leather earthy thing.
Getting the green. This is one of the first times I've gotten that really strong green pepper note out of it. Like people talk about in Cab Francs. Like swallow it and then imagine like biting into a fresh green pepper, and it's got that. That's weird.
I didn't get it on the first sips, but when you talked about it that time, yeah, it's like clear as day.
Well, I always look for that, right? Because people talk about that fairly regularly, but it's a lot of times it's masked by oak usage or whatever, and this seems to be more like less. Like very little oak on the palate, right?
Yeah, and I bet there is some on it, but it's certainly not dominant. Yeah,
Well, yeah, barrel select, right? So
gotta be. Right?
yeah, exactly. Some oak, but man, the fruit and the earthy and green pepper notes transcend that. So it's yeah, interesting.
And it is that dry earthy thing that I was talking about in the nose is definitely coming through on the palate. I've experienced that with Virginia wines before too, and not from stuff on the West Coast. So one of my friends remarked that is kind of like an East Coast terroir, or in her case it was Virginia terroir thing, and I'm like, I kind of buy that. Like I've kind of got that feeling. So that's interesting to see it here. Yeah.
What was it again? Sorry, I missed. I was too.
Sorry, no, that like dry red earth thing.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I have a hard time scoring this. Because I don't know if I think it's kind of nice wine. I don't know if I necessarily like it personally.
Sure. Fair enough.
Like the fruit early on is kind of like remind me like the cranberry, sort of like tart red fruits early on. The green pepper thing, like the red fruit runs out through the finish, but that green pepper thing spikes up in the finish. It's very strange. All in all, I mean, a cool wine, but I don't know. It's nothing I would ever purchase, right, for myself.
Sure.
Personally. I don't know.
That's a tough place to be. I'm going to go
80 points for me.
And I'm going to go 85 on it, actually. I'm kind of liking it. The texture across the palate is what's really getting me. I like how it starts out. I like how the acidity sits on the middle of the palate. And I kind of like how the flavors evolve a little bit. There's a little bit of bitterness out in the finish. But that kind of comes with the variety a little bit, too.
A little bit of greenness.
But again, for sub 20, a little bit of evolution on the palate. To me, I enjoy the fruit flavors. Actually, the cranberries are kind of lingering, so a little bit of length and a little bit of evolution. That's noteworthy and interesting to me, especially from a state that's not in the top few wine producing regions. So
right.
It's fun to see that stuff like this is going on. I'd certainly be interested in tasting more from the region. So
I should say my score is simply based on the fact that I'm just not into the way the wine tastes.
Yeah.
And that's personal preference entirely. So it is a well-made wine, and I think people that like this style of wine, like Cab Francs, and like these flavor components are going to enjoy this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. other than the fact I just don't like the flavors.
That's a really good point, and part of the value of having two people on the show, right? We get a couple different angles on it.
Exactly.
Get a couple different angles on it. Yeah, so that's tasting North Carolina with Wine is Serious Business. Question of the day: big news that Windows 8's released tomorrow, right? Like that's
is that
Windows 8 hits tomorrow.
Okay.
The Microsoft Surface is coming out on the market. It's big
Looking
news.
forward to it.
We're kind of excited about that. Both of us are Intel guys, right? So we're excited about the Surface Pro that's going to come out in 2013, right? So the ARM version, the ARM version, that's what's coming out first. But exactly, yeah. But we're excited about the Surface. Our question to you: what tablet outside of the iPad? Any other tablet by any other OEM? I know there aren't a lot, but I know there are enough to talk about. What tablet outside of the iPad has your attention? Thanks for watching.
Good question. See you guys next time.